Okay, everybody, now that we have our show opened, I'm going to just kind of walk you through this interface and kind of how it all works. So up along the top left, you've got, the name of the software, your typical file, so you can create another new show. You can open a show, save, you can save as, or you can export a local copy of the show. So if you need to make a local backup for some reason, or you want to take a show and give it to somebody else, you can export that local copy. Okay. Continuing along the top bar, we have the Show Grid button, and what this is going to do is actually just turn the grid on and off on the field. The Print/Export button. This is going to open your exporting and printing, and we'll cover that in another lesson. And this is your save. So after you've made changes, you can click the save. It's going to give you, saving, project saved, etc. All of these panels are resizable, so that we can pull this timeline up and we can see, the audio file that we've got. The nice waveform there helps to really help sync your music with your sets. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Right now I have the selection tool. If I hold down Control while I have the selection tool, I can operate the camera. So I can zoom in with my mouse wheel, I can left click and pan around, or I can right click and orbit around the players on the field. With the selection tool, I am able to grab and move the performers. And as you can see, when I select a performer over in the Properties panel, you can see the information about, what side they're on, the counts in this, what the current set is, what yard line, the offset. You can change up their symbol, their label symbol, what section they're in, what instrument they are. You can change these. If you do change these at any time, it does change it for the whole show, just as an FYI. But yeah, you can see all the properties of the performer when you have them selected and drag them around. The box selector allows you to select multiple. You click and drag. You can select multiple performers. And that's once they're selected. In order to move them, you do have to go back to your selection tool and then drag them around. You can drag them as a group. The line tool. So, we're going to exit out of that. So I'm going to deselect by clicking anywhere on the field. The line tool, as you see, you have to have at least 2 performers selected first. So here, I can either shift click with my cursor tool and select them. And then once I have at least 2, I can click on the line tool and we can make a new line. So I click, it's going to move across the field to where my next one is. And I can click again, it's going to move them all in line. Okay, it's going to make it really easy to make nice, clean lines. The next tool is also you have to have more than 2 performers selected. This is your curve tool. And the way this works, we really tried to simplify this so you don't have the Bezier curves and all the messy selections. So you click once, you create the first point in the line, and then the end of the line, and then you can draw, and then you move your mouse, and it's going to show the curve that you're making and where those performers are going to fall in that curve. Okay, and then I select, and they all jump where they're at. The hand tool I can use to, this is the camera tool. So I can move, right click is pan, left click is orbit, and the mouse zooms in and out. I can't select when I'm in the hand tool or do any of that. I have to go back to the selection tool. When I have the selection tool, I can right click on the field and I can add a performer or add a prop at that specific spot. We'll cover that here in a second. This next tool or button on the toolbar is switch to 2D chart view. So what this is going to do is it's going to switch to a camera straight above the field, looking straight down, and you can see the dots. Okay, and you can zoom in. You cannot pan around, but you can. Oops. You can pan, but you can't orbit. In this, you've locked the camera to a 2D view. This really helps you see the grid. It makes those selections and bring those in line. And then if I want to go back to the 3D view, I just hit that, and I go back to the 3D view. Snap to grid. This is probably one of the most important tools. This is going to snap your performers or your props to the step grid on the field. So if this is lit up, that selection, that snap to grid feature is active, and they're going to snap to these cross sections on the field. And you can see that they make those jumps nice and clean here. And it allows you to really just, and you can see the steps, counters on this, nice clean step counts, locking it to the grid. This also works with the line and curve tool. So if I have this selected, when I draw a line or if I draw a curve, the performers are going to snap to the closest grid point along that line or the curve that they're on. Next tools. This is the Add Performer tool. If I click this, you're going to get the Add Performer section, because we all know when you're writing shows, sometimes kids join or people join, people quit. You end up having to rewrite, so we can remove and add performers. So you're going to select the section. You're going to select the instrument. You can change, and then you're going to set their label. Okay. And then this, I can add them to this set only. I can set them from here onward in the show. This is the default setting. Or I can add them to the entire show. So when I add to the entire show, the performer will appear in the current. Oh, this is a description of what these selections are. So performer will appear in the current and all subsequent sets. Performer will appear in every set at the same position. So if you're adding a performer, it's going to appear in every set at the same position, and you're going to have to go and place them in each of the sets that are currently active. Then I can just click Add Performer. If I do this using the toolbar selection like I did, it's going to add them right at the center of the field, right there. If I want to, I can right-click on the performer. I can delete that performer. I'm going to have the same options for deletion that I would do for adding. I can delete them from this set only, from this set forward, or I can delete them from the entire show. We'll go ahead and remove that performer. This is the Add Prop tool. There's three kind of prop placeholders that you can place. There is the cube, the cylinder, and the sphere. And the dimensions that you have for these is going to be a little different for each one. So we'll go ahead and create a sphere. We'll just call this the globe. It's going to be blue. You can set the radius and then the height above the field. So how high above the field that this is going to be. And I can set it from this set only, from here onward, or the entire show. So we'll go ahead and add that prop. You can see that here. I can also select and edit these properties, so I can make it bigger if I want to, and I can make it float, higher above the field if I want to. Select this. These act just like performers. They're going to snap to that grid, and I can move them, and they're going to position with each set, as I'll show you in just a second. So that's the Add Prop. This is the Undo feature. And as you can see, I just undid creating that, and the Redo feature. So I can undo, see if I move somebody and I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I can undo that. They're going to snap back. Most people are pretty familiar with that. It's also in here. I can also add and performers and props from the edit menu, and I can switch to the chart views and the grid from the view menu. All right, now let's talk about the timeline. So down here, we have our sets. Now each show begins with the very first set, and I place my performers where they're all going to start. I can then add add set. This is going to add my set number 2. It's up here. I can name these sets if I want, but they do go in order there, just as a heads up. I can set the number of counts that this set is going to be, and the tempo of the music, and I can also add any notes for the set. And then, so what I can do is grab, for set 2, I then place my performers. There we go. I can place my performers where I want them to be in set 2. We'll just bring everybody up a little forward. We're going to take our guard and we're going to put them across the back. I am not a drill writer, so forgive me for my poor design skills, poor show design skills. All right, and then if I want to, what this is going to do for me is this is going to allow me to play from the first set or from whatever the set I have selected forward what this is going to look like. So you're going to see those performers march between sets, and then they're going to be there. Now, if I want them to hold this position for, so many counts, I'm going to right click, I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to have the same exact set, and I will place this, here with the music. Make sure, so then they're going to hold for that. And so then between this one and that one, there's not any movement on the field, but they, would be playing this music as they go. And then from here, I can also copy and delete sets by right-clicking them. I'm going to just go ahead and add another set. And then, I do have to be selected on a set to select the performers. Just for a safety reason, we don't want people, if the timeline viewer isn't on the set that you're trying to move people, it's not going to work very well. So we we added some safety features so that you're not messing up your different sets by accident because you're not there. But we can move them, and then between that set and this set, those two are going to move back. Okay. Pretty straightforward. And then you just keep adding sets. You can adjust them. You can adjust them where they're at on the timeline. You can duplicate. You can copy. You can paste. If I do want to zoom in on this timeline, I can zoom in more. It gives me a little more, I can fine tune the placement of these sets a little better. If I did not import the music when I was creating a new show, import music. This is going to open my menu where I can open and import my music from my local computer. I'm not going to because I've already got music on the timeline. But if I hadn't done it when I was creating a new show, this is where I would come to do that. So we'll go ahead and save that. And then in my avatar, I can come up here and choose my designer profile. So this is my username, user email. This is my designer name. I can change my password. And then this is my subscription level. And then I can click here and manage that. I can adjust my subscription level up and down as needed. Also appreciated especially during our beta, please send us feedback. If you open this feedback, you can either report a bug or request, a feature that you think we are missing that needs to be in there. And if you are reporting a bug, a screenshot is very helpful for us to know, exactly what you're seeing so that we can track that down. And this last one, you can contact me for more details. This just tells us if if you're up for, if we can't quite understand the bug report, if we can email you for more details or not. So then send that feedback, gets to us, and we will work on that and get that fixed and corrected as fast as we can. So last thing on here, I can sign out or I can go back to my shows. And this is going to take me back to my dashboard. And I've got my screenshots here of my two shows. When I load into a show, you're going to see it load. You're going to see that audio file loaded successfully and then to the timeline. And then we're all set to continue editing. All right, I think that's it. I think I'll do one more video with the exporting.